He always kept a note in his wallet that read, "Better to delay than to cause a disaster." But on this day, moments after his plane left the airport, it flew straight into a flock of birds. The engines caught fire and shut down instantly. Worse still, both engines were knocked out, not just one. The captain didn't yet know the full extent of the damage. All he felt was a sudden, dramatic loss of thrust. Every decision he made from this point forward would determine the fate of 155 lives on board. He tried to restart the engines but got nothing back. Then the cabin lost all electrical power. Without a moment's hesitation, he switched on the auxiliary power unit. Power returned to the cabin. The flight attendants signaled everyone to stay calm. The passengers assumed it was just turbulence. They had no idea that up in the cockpit, a fight against death was underway. The captain radioed the tower for help. Air traffic control immediately grounded all aircraft and cleared the runways to bring Flight 1549 back in. But Sully knew the truth. At their current altitude, making it back to the airport was simply impossible.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
What? Brace! 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 Heads down! Stay down! Brace! 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 Heads down! Stay down!
The tower still held out hope, but Sully's 42 years of flying experience told him there was only one option, a water landing on the Hudson River. After he said those words, the tower lost his signal. The controller called out to Sully again and again. The nearest airport was just 7 miles away. But there was no response. The controller broke down because the odds of surviving a water landing were less than 1%. The plane kept descending toward the river. Sully operated with calm precision. His co-pilot backed him up without question. Passengers prayed. Some left final messages to their loved ones. Sully made one last adjustment to the angle of approach and braced for impact. And just like that, the plane touched down on the Hudson River at an absolutely perfect angle. No breakup, no rollover. It glided for a stretch and came to a stop right in the middle of the river. But the danger was far from over. Sully rushed into the cabin and ordered everyone to put on life vests and evacuate in an orderly fashion. River water surged in almost instantly, quickly rising past the windows. The plane could sink at any moment. The co-pilot was still shaking. The flight attendants ignored their own injuries, one with a torn leg, and threw themselves into the evacuation effort. The front door opened and the life raft deployed successfully. Emergency exits on both sides were thrown open. Passengers nearby climbed onto the wings to wait for rescue. Some jumped straight into the river, trying to swim to the other side, forgetting this was New York in the dead of winter, with temperatures well below zero. Sully reminded everyone to keep their life vests on while handing out blankets to the elderly and children, doing everything he could to improve their chances of surviving the freezing cold. Fortunately, a nearby Coast Guard patrol spotted them, and air rescue was already on the way. All passengers were evacuated from the cabin. Boats from every direction rushed to the scene. Patrol boats pulled up alongside the wings, and passengers were lifted aboard one by one. Ferrymen dove into the icy water to rescue those who had overestimated their ability to swim. Over 300 civilians who heard the news showed up to help. Everyone joined the rescue effort in a calm, coordinated manner. People seemed to forget this was the kind of accident almost no one survives. Meanwhile, Sully himself, ignoring the danger, waded twice through waist-deep freezing water in the tail section, making absolutely sure no one was left behind. Only then did he return to the cockpit to grab the flight records, and he was the very last person to reach the life raft. Thanks to everyone working together, the entire rescue was completed in just 20 minutes. The first thing Sully did when he reached shore was call his wife to let her know he was alive. But his mind was anything but at ease. The mayor and the police commissioner wanted to congratulate him, but Sully only cared about one number, 155. He needed to confirm that every single person on that plane had been saved. But given the chaos, there was no way to get an accurate headcount yet. At his co-pilot's insistence, Sully was taken to the hospital for a checkup. That's when the union president brought him the news.
Can I count? 155. 155. It's official. 155, 155.
In that moment, the enormous weight pressing on his chest finally shifted. The relief, the joy, the flood of emotions, all of it came crashing together and ultimately escaped as one long, exhausted sigh. He had pulled off a miracle. News coverage exploded. Sully became a national hero. The National Transportation Safety Board invited him to a hearing. But Sully never imagined that hearing would turn into a trial. Multiple agencies formed a joint investigation team to examine the crash. NTSB engineers calculated that under the conditions at the time, the plane had enough time to return to the airport. There was no need to risk a water landing. Before Sully could even push back, they raised another challenge. How exactly had Sully calculated all the parameters to conclude the plane couldn't make it back to a runway?
There was no time for calculating. I had to rely on my experience of managing the altitude and speed of thousands of flights over 4 decades.
You're saying you didn't do anything?
I eyeballed it.
You eyeballed it.
The board dismissed his judgment entirely. On top of that, a dual-engine failure caused by a bird strike was completely unprecedented. No matter how Sully tried to explain, the board kept pressing harder, even questioning his mental state.
When was your last drink, Captain Solberg?
9 days ago.
Drugs?
No.
First Officer Skiles?
Don't drink. Never have.
He had saved 155 living, breathing human beings, and now he had to endure the humiliation of being unable to defend himself. At least the public was on his side. A cab driver felt honored just to have him as a passenger. Even before a TV interview, the makeup artist couldn't help but plant a kiss on him and tried to set him up with her single mother.
Well, tell Brenda thank you, but I've got a girl at home.
Lucky woman.
Sully found some small comfort in all of this, but reality was waiting around the corner with a cold smirk. The second hearing opened with the NTSB going straight for the jugular. Flight data showed the left engine still had thrust it had been running throughout the entire flight. That meant the dual engine failure was Sully's misjudgment. Combined with wind speed, altitude, and other factors, they argued the plane could have landed safely at the airport without a scratch. The co-pilot had had enough of these people. A bunch of desk jockeys, what gave them the right to question the man who saved over 100 families? Without Sully, it would have been a catastrophic disaster. But the NTSB immediately produced their evidence. Engineers had run 20 computer simulations, all using the exact same parameters as Flight 1549 on the day of the incident. Every single simulation ended the same way: the plane made it back safely.
Successful.
The plane landed at LaGuardia, intact, undamaged.
Sully couldn't believe it. He wanted to review the data, but was told that during the investigation, all information was classified to prevent sensationalized media coverage. Once the complete cockpit voice recording transcript was ready, they would face their final judgment. Something didn't sit right with Sully. This was completely different from what he remembered. In that cockpit, it was obvious both engines were gone. If he had tried to turn back to the airport, the plane would have plowed straight into downtown Manhattan, causing another disaster on the scale of 2001. It seemed the only way to uncover the truth was to wait for the left engine to be recovered from the river. His co-pilot believed in him without question, but the trauma of what they'd been through, combined with the board's relentless attacks, dragged Sully into a pit of self-doubt. He had nightmares every single night. If the water landing was proven to be the wrong call, Sully's career would be over for good. No pension, unable to pay the mortgage, nowhere to live. He had carried over 1 million passengers safely across 42 years of flying, and now it would all be defined by 208 seconds. Sully stood at the window, staring into nothing. The relentless nightmares had started to blur the line between reality and hallucination. Anxiety consumed him completely. He tried to shake it off with exercise, but the soft glow of dawn on the horizon did nothing to quiet his restless mind. His confidence began to crack. What if he really had made the wrong call? Would those same media outlets that had showered him with praise turn on him just as fast, branding him a fraud?
Sully Sullenberger, who are you? A hero or a fraud?
The pressure kept him up at night. He ran through the neon-lit streets of New York and somehow ended up near an airport without even realizing it. Staring at the planes parked in the darkness, Sully's mind drifted back to his younger self. He had embraced the open sky since he was a boy. His instructor once told him that a true pilot never stops learning and in that journey, discovers the poetry of life.
And never forget, no matter what's happening, fly the airplane.
Absolutely, sir.
Oh, one other thing. This is important.
Sir?
You can go ahead and smile.
Sully took those words to heart. He went on to become an Air Force pilot. During a training flight, his fighter jet suddenly malfunctioned. The tower told him he could eject at any time. But Sully was convinced he could bring it down safely. He increased speed to maintain a straight flight path and lowered the landing gear early as a precaution. With what could only be described as flawless control, he landed the plane on the runway without incident. For anyone else, ejecting might have been the smart choice. His love of flying defined his entire life. Decades of experience had shaped him into the Captain Sully the world now knew. Sometimes faith is just faith. It can't change our lives or free us from every burden, but it has a way of making us feel safe. Sully walked into a bar, hoping alcohol might offer a brief escape from the suffocating reality. The TV was running non-stop coverage of the water landing. The bartender recognized him and offered him drinks on the house, even pulling out a bottle of vodka named after him. Other patrons greeted him warmly. They all believed Sully was a true hero. Then Sully caught a word on the TV timing. Something clicked. After settling his tab, he immediately called his friend at the union and begged for a favor. He wanted the flight simulation test moved up to before the hearing. Sully argued that real humans and computers are fundamentally different, and the outcomes would be too. He was certain he could find the proof he needed. And if the results went against him, he would voluntarily surrender his wings.
It's all about the timing, Larry. You can accomplish anything if you're never in a hurry.
I sure as hell agree with that.
Can you make it happen?
I'll try. It's a lot of phone calls.
Back at the hotel, he put on his pilot's uniform. From his wallet, he pulled out the note that had been with him his entire career. Better to delay than to cause a disaster. That motto had guided him through 42 years and over 1 million passengers without a single incident. And now, 208 seconds on one single day threatened to undo all of it. Before the final hearing began, Sully got a call from his wife. She had been worrying about their mounting bills, but that morning it finally hit her. Sully was one of the 155 survivors too. She had almost lost her husband forever. And in the face of that, life's problems suddenly seemed so small. She told Sully that no matter how the hearing turned out, she would stand by him through it all. His wife's love, the kindness of strangers, it all came together in that moment as a surge of courage, carrying him toward the final battle. Sully's confidence was restored. He walked in and took his seat at the hearing with nothing to hide. The union president came through. He successfully demanded that the computer simulations be replaced with real pilots and that the entire process be made public for the first time. All parameters were logged by computer and recreated to match the exact conditions of that day. The simulation began. Bird strike. Both engines failed. Autopilot disengaged. Auxiliary power unit activated. Contact with the tower. Prepare to return to LaGuardia. Every action was smooth and seamless, with virtually no hesitation. The plane landed safely on the runway. Both return routes resulted in a safe landing.
Multiple airports, runways, 2 successful landings. We are simply mimicking what the computer already told us.
Just when everyone thought Captain Sully had no defense left, he cut straight to the point. The simulation had ignored the human factor. Even the most highly trained pilots need time to assess and react to an emergency. The 2 pilots in the simulation had acted like machines. The instant the birds hit, they didn't troubleshoot, didn't hesitate for even a second, and immediately turned back to the airport. They even knew the exact heading and turn in advance. It was like walking into an exam already knowing all the answers.
No one warned us. No one said you are going to lose both engines at a lower altitude than any jet in history. But be cool, just make a left turn for LaGuardia like you're going back to pick up the milk. This was dual engine loss at 2,800 feet, followed by an immediate water landing with 155 souls on board. No one has ever trained for an incident like that. No one. And the Teterboro landing, with its unrealistic bank angle, we were not the Thunderbirds up there. I'm not questioning the pilots. They're good pilots. But they've clearly been instructed to head for the airport immediately after the bird strike. You've allowed no time for analysis or decision-making.
Then Sully pressed further. How many practice runs had those pilots gone through before achieving that flawless performance?
17.
17.
The room erupted. Even with the answers handed to them in advance, those 2 pilots had needed 17 attempts to get it right. But in real life, you don't get a do-over. One mistake, and you're looking at 155 tragedies.
The reaction decision time will be set at 35 seconds.
With that, Sully won himself 35 seconds of human reaction time. The simulation restarted. Bird strike. A 35-second pause, no action taken. Then the left turned to head back. But this time, as everyone watched, the altitude warning blared.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Too low terrain. Too low terrain.
Extra speed.
Too low terrain. Too low terrain.
No, leave the flaps up.
Too low terrain. Too low terrain. Too low terrain.
50, 40, 30, 20.
The plane slammed into structures on the airport perimeter. 35 seconds of human delay acted like a precision key, instantly unlocking the blind spot in their cold, technical logic. A second simulation began, this time using the alternate return route to a nearby airport. Same parameters. Same 35-second delay. But the result was even worse. The plane crashed into a densely populated office park. The casualties would have been unimaginable. The massive hearing room fell dead silent. Everyone realized that under those conditions, a safe return to any airport was simply not possible. Captain Sully's decision to land on the water was the right call and the one that gave everyone the best chance of survival. Before the final ruling, they still needed to hear the black box recording from Flight 1549. Everyone put on their headphones and listened, as if they were right there in the cockpit during this unprecedented emergency. Shortly after leaving the airport, the plane was struck by a flock of Canada geese. Both engines caught fire and lost power instantly. Reading the instrument data, Sully made his call immediately. He activated the auxiliary power unit and contacted the tower for help. The co-pilot pulled out the quick reference handbook, searching for the dual engine failure procedure. The tower offered 2 return routes, but the window was closing fast. The plane had already dropped to just 2,500 feet. The only option was a landing on the nearby Hudson River.
170 knots. Got no power, need to try the other one.
Try the other one.
49. Still up?
150 knots. Got flaps too, you want more?
No, let's do it.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
We're gonna race.
Pull up.
30,
Pull up.
20.
Pull up.
"208 seconds of sheer terror, traded for the miracle of 155 survivors. And it was all thanks to Captain Sully's composure under pressure, his precise judgment, and his masterful control of the aircraft. they stepped outside to await the final verdict. At this point, no matter the outcome, both he and his co-pilot could hold their heads high.
We did our job.
We did our job.
After a brief deliberation, all agencies reached a unanimous conclusion. Captain Sully was a hero who had saved the day, not a reckless pilot who had endangered his passengers. The NTSB dropped its aggressive stance and offered its sincerest recognition to both the captain and co-pilot for their calm, decisive actions that turned disaster into survival.
That was no simulation.
No, it wasn't.
Gentlemen, I want to inform you that the left engine has been recovered. We just received a comprehensive report. There was extensive damage to both the guide vanes and fan blades of the engine.
So no thrust.
As you testified, it was completely destroyed.
The left engine was confirmed to be completely destroyed, proving that both engines had indeed failed. The aircraft communication system's back-end data had been wrong. In other words, every single judgment and action Captain Sully made after the incident was a critical step in creating this miracle.
There is still an X in this result. And it's you, Captain Sullenberger. Remove you from the equation and the math just fails.
I disagree. It wasn't just me. It was all of us.
But Sully insisted the credit didn't belong to him alone. Success required everyone's effort, the dedicated crew members, the cooperative passengers, the tower controllers. The rescue teams who arrived on scene first, they were all part of making this miracle happen. Their contributions should never be overlooked. This is a true story. On January 15, 2009, after Flight 1549 made its emergency landing on the Hudson River, over 1,200 rescue workers responded to the scene. In just 24 minutes, all 155 people on board were pulled to safety. When the media showered Captain Sully with praise, calling him a savior sent from above, he gave the credit right back to everyone else. Because a miracle like this isn't written by one person alone. It was created by countless professionals just like him, people who showed up and did their jobs, and by ordinary individuals who chose to lend a hand when disaster struck. Every single person who did the right thing in their own position was an irreplaceable part of this miracle in the sky. As for the heroism on display that day, it wasn't some superhuman power that swooped in to save the day. It was unwavering dedication to a craft, a lifetime of sharpening skills, an absolute commitment to responsibility. It lives in the quiet discipline of showing up every single day. It lives in those small but shining moments when ordinary people choose kindness, duty, and solidarity in the face of danger. The professional strength forged through years at an everyday post. The brave souls who stepped up at the scene without hesitation. These are the people we can count on most when crisis hits, the backbone we all lean on. And that collective light born from shared goodness and professional excellence will leave its mark across the sky of history, bold and unmistakable, for all time.
You cut me open the night.